Okay, so now we're gonna do this side over here. And again, we're gonna try to do it in the same spot. Most people have the same, I don't know if people have the same size ears. That's a good question. Okay, so we're gonna make sure you pin it there, and then we're gonna pin it right around here. Okay, and this is awkward. I usually flip it over, but I'm not trying to confuse you guys. Okay, okay, so now we have the elastic attached, if you can see it. Now the next part is to take the back side of your mask, and this one is going to go on top of it just like this. So you have the green, you have like sides facing each other because we're going to flip it inside out. So we're lay it right on top, okay? But now we need to pin that elastic to both pieces. So we're going to make sure we line up both pieces of fabric as best we can, okay? You can see that. And then I'm just taking the pin out and putting the elastic, pinning it through all of my fabric. Okay, so just like I just did with the first piece of fabric, now I'm doing it through all of my fabric. Okay, so there we go. All right, now I'm gonna turn it sideways because it's easier. So I have the pins right here. I'm gonna line up the fabric as best I can, take the pin out and put it through all of the fabric. Okay, and then this guy over here, you wanna be careful that the elastic doesn't go too far towards the bottom. I'll show you in just a second. Okay, the elastic is pinned. You wanna make sure the elastic stays inside the mask, and when you're sewing it doesn't get caught in the seam when you're sewing it, or else it will be stuck in the seam and you won't be able to wear it. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. The only thing we have pinned is the 4 elastic corners. Okay, so what I do next is I make sure that the nose is lined up on both fabrics. If you have a lot of excess here, which I do not, well, I do on this piece, but not on that piece. So as I kind of spread them to the sides like this. You don't have to do that, it's just what I do. It makes it flatter for when I'm sewing. So I take a pin and I pin it through this side, out the back, out the back, and then through this side. So it just flattens it. So when I'm sewing, it gives me a nice edge to sew upon. Okay, so everything is nicely lined up all the way around. And when we're sewing, we're going to leave about this much unsewn right here, about maybe 2 inches. We're not going to sew because that's where we're going to turn it right side out. Okay, so now that I have my 5 pins in there, I have one at the top, and then I have the 2 elastic top and the 2 elastic bottom. Now we're going to go back to the sewing machine.